Greetings Boffins, welcome to the Boffin Lab. I'm Mardor Taran and this is a Nano-Guide for Ark Survival Evolved. This guide is about food and water. Ark is a survival game, so food and water is a critical aspect of it. You got to feed yourself and your dinosaurs. So knowing how to get food and water will be critical right from the start. There are two reasons why you're going to need it. Even if you're inside a building and doing nothing, you will slowly deplete both food and water. However, other conditions will cause them to deplete as well. Every time you need to regenerate your stamina, it will require food and water to do so. When it's particularly hot, you will also use a lot of water. When it's particularly cold, you will use up food. Stimulants and stim berries will make your water go down very quickly as well. So, there is a number of reasons you will be forced to regenerate these stats. Water is rather easy. There are several sources. You can drink seawater, and to do so, all you have to do is step into ankle-deep water and push the E key. You should hear the drink icon, and it will fill you water to full. You can also submerge your head completely, and this will do the same thing. If you stand in the rain outside, you will also have your water bar filled completely as well. Or you can drink from water taps from your own piping network, something to look for later on down the track, just to be a little more convenient inside your base. However, carrying water with you is another trick. The first basic item for carrying water is the water skin, and it will hold 100 units of water. But there's a problem with it. They leak and slowly deplete water over time. You could expect it to be basically out of water in almost half an hour playtime. So it's actually worth it to carry multiples of them. That way you at least have enough to get you up to full water when you need it. The water you get from a water skin is based on the percentage of the water left in the skin. So, if it's half full, you'll only get 50 points of water. Refilling your water skin is pretty easy. Step into ankle deep water, click the item, push use item. You could also put it into a tool belt slot and use it there. However, these tool belts are critical. You should have important survival gear there. Feeding and drinking are things that you can do when you have a moment to spare and access your inventory. Stim berries will cost you water. Stimulants will cost you even more water, but they're used to counteract torpor. There are several sources of food, and berries is one of them. You can harvest berries just about anywhere, though in the cold regions it's a little more difficult. Each berry of normal colors is worth 1.5 food. The white berries are worth 1.5 food as well. However, they cost you more water, so they're a little difficult to use, and should be used only under certain situations. Narco berries will give you 4 food per unit, but they will also give you 7 torpor points, which means eating a bunch of them is going to knock you unconscious. Two other sources of normal food are raw meat and fish meat. You can guess where these come from. Now, eating raw meat and fish meat is possible, but it costs you hit points to do so, so it's better to cook them. This makes the campfire a critical survival resource, and you should have it as soon as possible. You can find a bunch of them around the map sometimes, since every new survivor makes one. But to make your food more palatable, you should use a campfire and cook it. It takes 20 seconds to cook each item, but if you've got fish and raw meat in the same campfire, each one will cook every 20 seconds. Now, if you mouse over a stack of food, you'll see that it has a spoil timer. What that means that one item out of the stack will degrade into spoiled meat, or in the case of berries, nothing, when that timer reaches 0. If we look at raw meat, we see the timer is pretty low. But if you look at the cooked meat, that gives it more life. It will last longer. It's worth cooking meat even if you're feeding it to your dinosaurs, just so it doesn't spoil very quickly. There are a couple of ways to make the spoil timer even longer. First of all, put it into a dinosaur's inventory. You can also get preserving bins, which require spark powder to run, refrigerators, which are the best storage facility but require electricity to run, and in an emergency, you can store food in a feeding trough. Cooked fish meat is worth 10 food points, but takes longer to spoil than cooked normal meat. Cooked normal meat is worth 20 food points, meaning you need half as much to feed yourself or your dinosaur. One thing is important to realize when you eat. It increases food, but it also increases health if you're eating cooked meat. Thus, cooked meat is better for you, but you have to pay the price of the fact that it will degrade. There are 3 more sources of food available in the normal game. Any kind of seed that you find can be eaten and get you 1 food point. This means that a stack of seed will not degrade, will not spoil, and give you 100 food points and weigh 1 kilo. That's alright as an emergency ration very early in the game. However, there is one more thing to play with. Mushrooms and flowers are also consumable now. 7 flowers will fill roughly 100 food points, but 4 mushrooms will fill 100 food points, making it the most efficient food available. It won't heal you, but it won't degrade, and you can carry 100 mushrooms for 1 kilo of weight. If you can get access to these are the perfect emergency food. Carry them around with you. They won't cost much for those moments when you just don't have any normal food left. But there's one more thing you need to know. If you want to harvest meat from a dead dinosaur or a dead fish, use your pickaxe. It's the most efficient way to do it, unless you own a carnivore. Most carnivores are pretty good at harvesting meat from their kills. That's it for the basics on food. Have fun, keep surviving.